Okay, this is a video for the Tanchjim Hana. It is a new single dynamic driver by a company that I like that did a set called the Oxygen. This is basically the same shell, but it's painted in slightly different tune, which is very much like Moondrop did with the KXXS and then turned that into a painted, blue painted set and called it the Starfield. They had some issues with chipping of the paint, and they're warning to watch out for the same thing with this set. So, or Tanchjim is warning, so be aware of that. Kick drums, let's start with the bass. Kick drums, particularly John Bonham, when the levy breaks, was not quite to my satisfaction. This personal reviewer, I would like it to be more faithful to the original, audiophile and all that stuff. Didn't really think it was not feeling it. Went into Marvin Gaye and thought, that actually sounds really good. I had to turn it down just a little bit for the volume of the vocals, but it was a very nice, detailed, resolving listen, and it sounded fine with that. Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams actually sounded good. Ambitions as a Rider, this isn't a set that I would really rec for like hip-hop. I don't think anybody would buy it for that, but I'll go ahead and confirm that that's probably not the ideal scenario for that. So kick drum, when the levy breaks, not really great. Marvin Gaye did sound good. Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits, the bassist is pinning down the whole track pretty much, and he sounded perfect actually on this set. Big surprise. So bass is for people that want, I won't even say audiophile, because John Bonham should be coming in hard if it's faithful to the reproduction. This is not able to give me that authoritative impact when it needs be, but otherwise I thought the bass actually did pretty decent, and that is the bass. Okay, the mids of this set, using Black Sabbath Sweetleaf, is because it's going to tell me if there's any kind of a haze or kind of a semi-veil that's killing res. Fleetwood Mac, I'm listening to 4 vocalists, 2 male, 2 female. Dire Straits is what I'm going to give you an audio example for. So you might want to skip over this. It's probably going to be maybe about 45 seconds long. This is a guitarist and lead singer that's playing within the framework of the track called Sultans of Swing. The bassist is pinning down the track, and the drummer is kind of playing second fiddle to those two in the track. That's the way it is. At no point does anybody really jump out. The solo that is done by the male singer all fits perfectly, and a lot of this exists in the mids. And if there was too much of a dip or too much of a rise, which there is a rise in the graph, it might sound a little bit off, but it actually sounds beautiful, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. I think the mids of this sound really good to my ear. Remember, mid frequencies being perfectly flat is not necessarily the absolute excellent, perfect, ideal thing. Sometimes being slightly back gives emphasis to other things around too much. It's a personal preference thing, and also a tuning thing. Like where's the line? It's personal. Using this track right here, I'll go ahead and give you a demonstration.
What they call rock and roll, and the Sultans, yeah, the Sultans, they play Creole.
And that is a beautiful song. If you're watching this, then this thing got through the copyright and it didn't get blocked in like half the countries of the world. So I think the mids on this are really good. I think the bass is, depending on your taste, it's good enough for bass guitar, and that's what I just played you. I played you to show you a bassist that is very present but not overbearing, but needs to really be where he's at, and then this set puts him right there. The bass comes in very clean, very good, doing his job. Drummer seems to be slightly back from him, and Mark and his guitar are really the same throughout, and it's fucking beautiful fucking solo. The treble is where things can get a little, and it's not related to vocals. Stevie Nicks, Christy McVie, Mick Fleetwood, Lindsey Buckingham, they sounded fine. Mark, on the track I just played, you just listened to it. I don't know what you were listening on, but it sounded fine to me. The cymbal strikes in some of the songs that I listened to, including Blind Faith, Can't Find My Way Home at 27 seconds. Also, the cymbal strikes in When the Levee Breaks, and the harmonica, it gets a little hot. But I found myself turning down the volume a little bit and then being okay with it because it's got a clarity that I enjoy. Like if I'm going to do a set that's got that kind of a treble, I would pick something like this over the B2 because it's got a cohesive property to it that doesn't really come through on most hybrids. That's why it took hybrids a long time to really get big into the mainstream, because it was something always seemed to be lacking. That's not necessarily the case with the B2, but these two both exhibit not emphasized bass and slightly emphasized treble or more than that, and this seemed to be the more acceptable replay to me using my library and that song I just showed you for mids in particular. I'll go ahead and put this to sleep and then give you my conclusions. So conclusion for the Tanchjim Hana, do I recommend it? If you're sensitive to, loud cymbal strikes like I am, I would say probably take a pass and maybe check out the Oxygen, which is a little bit different tuning and quite good. If you are, and this is not a joke, a lot of people that comment on my channel are older, younger and older. Some people in their 50s and 60s. Sometimes people say, I actually like that treble, bro. I like stuff emphasized. Well, here's the set for you. This is clean. This is very clean and very good. It's high res. It sounds quite good to me. The vocals sound good. Robert Palmer, Marvin Gaye, Robert Plant, Chris Cornell, all of the vocalists in my library. I didn't feel like Mick Fleetwood, Lindsey Buckingham, Christy McVie, Stevie Nicks, all on the same track. None of them sounded like they were sitting on my lap. That's not the issue with this set. It would just be the cymbal strikes, and if that's something that doesn't bother you, or you've gotten a little older and you don't mind that at all because that's kind of compensating for you, this would be a set to consider. It's not that expensive. It fits better than it looks. I just have gotten used to it maybe, and those tips will make it easier. Watch out for the scratches, or just go straight for the Oxygen. And that's it. And I hope that Dire Straits track was allowed in, because then I can sometimes put in a little audio demo, and because of the timestamps, you guys can skip those if you want. But that's the reason that I like this set, is in that song. It's got a drummer. He's holding it down. He's got a bassist that is actually pinning down the track, and a guitarist that is also the lead singer, that solo and guitar never, even when it's in his hands, he doesn't overwhelm the track with distortion pedals, and he just plays the guitar. That sounded fantastic on this, and I'll leave you with that, and I'm out.
Ripping shows live on stage for hoes yelling my name. To be precise, ripping mics